Okay, I'm Marie Chantal here again to share some tips about sales. So today I'm going to focus a little bit about what no really means. Now, there's three different type of answer when you present a product. One is yes, one is no, and there's always the maybe. So as a salesperson, our job is a lot more complex than presenting a product and taking orders. Our job is to act as both a detective and a consultant. So the detective in you is to search for clue to see what the buyer really wants to own. Now, as a consultant in you, then you need to guide them to reach the same conclusion. And you will do that with your presentation to make sure that you offer the right solution for them. So here's a question for you to consider. Why would anyone agree to meet with you and spend the time to listen to your presentation if they weren't interested? I mean, do you actually listen to presentation from salespeople about their products when you have no interest? Well, of course not. So you wouldn't waste that kind of time, right? So it's time to rethink of the meaning of no, and let's rethink of it. Some of the notes that I have that I wanted to share is number one. So I have seven different aspects that some of the possible meanings of no can be. One is the lingering question. So in sales, the word no very often means that the buyer hasn't had all the question or concern addressed. So they could be confused, they could be comparing with other companies and seeing that way they might have something similar and they want to challenge and prepare to make sure that everything is addressed. So a confused mind always says no. It's an instinct, and it also protects the person, as a human being. So if the buyer doesn't see a clear way to go with regards of your products, we'll tend to make any kind of decision based on that. So that's number one. Number two is the inadequate explanation of the benefits. So if you've done your job right of qualifying your buyer and you're confident that the product that you're offering will indeed serve them, um, a no just means you haven't completed the client's education process with that with the process of selling. So if this is the case, not providing enough information isn't necessarily a flaw in your presentation here, because sometimes too much information can run people away. But the different buyer need different amount of information delivered in different way before they consider making decisions. So generally speaking, it's better to give too much information and having the buyer ask for and have the buyer ask for more. I mean, it's the other way around. It's better to give too little information and get the buyer to ask for more than overwhelming the buyer with too much information and losing them with the overload or the boredom, right? So trust your instinct on that, and make sure that it's the right fit for the person that you're around with. The next one is additional discovery is required. I have my notes next to me. I'm trying to not see that I'm reading my notes at the same time. A no may means that you need to investigate further to determine what aspect of the presentation wasn't clear to them. So remember, a confused mind always say no, and I will be covering more of that, ways to more directly and persuasive during the presentation coming up in future video. And number four is misstep in qualification. So you may need to go back to the qualification or needs identification steps in your sales process to be certain you're presenting the right products for the buyer situation. This scenario may be due to your missing something when you met with them, or they didn't share that information, or you asked too early. Yeah, like you asked the sales too early. Or sometimes it could just be due to the buyer being unclear as to her true needs. Some people just don't know. So Because your presentation was effective in educating the buyer on what you're incorrect or what you incorrectly understood to the appropriate products, the buyer may say no to that initial offer. Now, the beauty is the buyer may not be aware that you carry another product that will meet their newest realization need. So only with further conversation, you can actually discover that empathy and epiphany and then present the right products. I mean, it happens to everyone, and it's just to make sure that they know that, hey, by the way, after realizing this, based on what you just said, I think I have something better for you. Like, and just move on to that product. So that's number 4. Number 5 is unrevealed questions and objections. So perhaps the buyer hasn't told you everything yet about his circumstances to need and his ability to afford what you're offering. They might need time. Like circumstances, right? So not all buyer will tell you everything up front that you need to know, because they want to make sure that you're offering a win-win opportunity, or maybe they're worried about you wanted to make the sale or anything like that. So sometimes it's a merely an issue of trust. Sometimes it's just that the buyer doesn't want to come and say all this. Like, there's some personal information sometimes. People don't want to say, oh yeah, I'm going through this or through that all the time. So that's another reason that people sometimes will say no. And often as a salesperson, we get defeated when really it's just mean like, you know what, like I have a client not long ago who, for his reasons of his timing or objection, the timing wasn't right because of finance, and we have to do it in a month from now, and that's all right. And that's what we're doing, right? And then 6 is timing, because the buyers that says no may just need to. He might just need to slow down his process. It's not a no, it's a not right now. Good timing is important when you make purchase, and why wouldn't be important for you as a sell person as well. Like, for them, it's important to make sure they buy at the right time, and it's also important for you. So timing is a huge component of being a salesperson. So definitely pay attention to that. Now, I had this in my note. Let's see here. Your job is to find out when is the best time for them to become truly engaged, and determine if you can do anything to help them take advantage of your offer sooner. So that's definitely your job. Now, uh, you may say, I understand your hesitance, Susie. When do you think it'll be a good time to get started, to make sure that you have your coverage in place? Or based on all the benefit that we've discussed here today, when do you want to take advantage of this? These are things that I use so often too. Like, when I meet with people, I'm always about meeting to the next meeting. So there's an abbreviation called WNAN. Yes, WNAN. When next and oh my God, I forgot what it is. What next and when? That's what it is. What next and when? Because you never want to leave a meeting without the next appointment. So usually I will go across with the timing situation, and I will say something like, hey, Jody, that was amazing. Here's some information you can take home and review yourself as well. Now, when do you know you'll have time to review this so we can meet again and finalize everything for you? And I do that with posture, and I do that softly. And then sometime I will put a little bit more urgency, like, when do you know this week you'll have time to review all this so we can help you and finalize everything coming up? Right? So those are ways for timing to help people, giving them the time they need, as well as having an idea of when to go back and finalize, because we believe that what we have is the best for them. I said that there was 7 notes on this, but there's actually 8. So number 7 is features. So this, there no may mean no, not the right size and colors. So depending on what you're purchasing, in this case, in my case, that is irrelevant for my business. So I'm going to jump into number 8. No, not you. So sometimes people don't want to buy from you. And it's very, very rare because most people buy from people that they like and they hang out with people that they like, and they wouldn't necessarily want to meet with you if they didn't like you. But in the meantime, sometimes they want to buy something that they will feel more confident by with somebody else, and they have to go find that person. So remember, in sales, um, it's all about understanding where the people are at and taking them where they're at to move forward. There's many reasons for a potential client to say no, but the lack of interest is probably not one of them. Disinterested people won't waste their time in meetings, salespeople, and listen to the presentation. So when you have a buyer's attention, it's because she truly wants to hear more and know more about you, your company, your products, your offer, what you have. And you are the only one who can ultimately determine what each of those no really mean in every selling situation. So every case is so different. So you do that by keeping that conversation alive through the use of precise craft questions, by mining the information you need to know in order to determine if how you can help the buyers. You'll close a lot more sales that previously other people would have probably segue on that, or people lose interest so fast, which is sad. So hopefully that helps you. I hope you got value in this, and we will see you into the next video. Bye for now.